Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the channel today, and welcome to another episode of Jazz and a Cup of Coffee, where each and every Sunday I present to you some discussion of a particular jazz or jazz fusion CD, or maybe something book related like a biography, that sort of thing, or a combination thereof. Today is a CD, a particular band. They are a one and done, unfortunately, which I'll get into as to why. But before we dive into today's special one and done, because the channel is also sharing with you my love of coffee in the hopes that you'll go out and try something new or return to something, that sort of thing. Let's talk about today's cup of choice. It is from Good and Gather. You'll always see the G for the brand. And today's blend is double chocolate. And according to the text here, it is a roast, regular roast, and it has a milk chocolate flavor, and it has a smooth finish. It is certified, free trade certified, Arabica beans from Latin America. It's one of my favorite flavored coffees. You can get it at Walmart or Target, even Amazon. There are other places. If you don't see the G there, then it's not the right blend. Sorry, not the right brand, and therefore not the right blend. IHOP has a double chocolate or a chocolate. It's okay. It's not as good as this. This is, as far as a double chocolate goes, this is one of my favorite. So I like to indulge, as I said, in flavored coffees. I won't always. Anyway, so let's dive right in. Cheers. It's very good. So now let's dive right into today's band of choice. And I'll begin with a rhetorical question. Is there such a thing as doom jazz? You've heard of doom metal, right? Well, the answer to this question is yes and no, not quite. The CD I'm presenting to you in question has some heavy bits to it. It's got some heavy jazz to it. So no, there is no genre of doom jazz, at least not that I'm aware of. But the reason I say this because the name of the band has doom in it, hint, and I'm talking about Trio of Doom, Tony Williams, Jaco Pastorius, and the wonderful John McLaughlin. They're all wonderful. And the reason the band became called Trio of Doom is because of Jaco named the band because his bass was called the Bass of Doom, known for its growl. So hence the name of the band. Again, this is unfortunately short-lived. There are 10 tracks here. Around half of them are live, and then the other half are the same tracks, or most of the same tracks in the studio. So Columbia Records in 1979 approached these gentlemen. The record company, the label, wanted them to play at the Havana Jam Festival in March, and they did. And so then afterwards, they liked what they were doing. They got a great response from the crowd. And so they went into the studio 4 or 5 days later to lay down the tracks. And there's one that they play live that doesn't make it on the studio. Anyway, this didn't come out till like 2005, which is odd, I think. I'm sorry, 2007. So anyway, unfortunately, when they were recording, there was a dispute towards the end of the recording, I would imagine, there was a dispute between Williams and Jaco, and it had to be some dispute, right, for them to not continue. And it's a shame because these are 3 of my favorite beloved jazz musicians of all time. And I'm sure for many of you it is as well. So it's a shame. Now, from the opening drum notes to the last notes of this recording, whether you're talking about the live or the studio, it's just fabulous. There are some alternative versions, but I'll get to that. So let's start with the live show. The first track is drum improvisation. It's a short piece, but there's something so intoxicating and mesmerizing just about the way that Williams lays down his drum patterns and beats. It almost has a bongo vibe to it, even though it's the drums. There's something soothing and captivating, just wonderful. It's under 3 minutes, but it's great. Then The gem of the album is next, and this is a live track too. Again, talking about the live part first. The gem of the album, to me, it's one of my, I would put it definitely in my top 10, top 20 jazz fusion songs of all time. Talking about the song Dark Prince. And this is where you get some doom jazz, so to speak. There's some killer shredding from John and Jaco. Tony's timekeeping is Pert-esque, excuse me. I sometimes say part instead of pert when it comes to Neil, because I remember in one of the liner notes, Neil saying it was Moving Pictures or something, the original liner notes, he said, rhymes with heart. And like so many people with last names, when people mispronounce it, he just goes with it. Maybe that's what happened. Who knows? But anyway, I digress. So Tony's timekeeping here is very Neil Peart-esque like, dare I say. Of course, this is more pure jazz or jazz fusion-y, more jazz fusion-y than what Neil ever did. Anyway, Robert Christgau, who's a critic I cannot stand, however, gave high praise to Tony Williams during his period, calling him the greatest drum musician of all time. And I could hear why if you hear this, I could hear why perhaps he would give him that label. Anyway, great song. It's heavy jazz. It's heavy jazz. Next is Continuum, still live. This is a moody, dreamy piece. It's the polar opposite of Dark Prince, but I love it. It's melancholy. The way it starts, it's just beginning what is I call a marvel of a song. It's that good. And it's slow and emotive, and I love it. It puts you into an introspective and pensive mood, but in a good way. It's a beautiful piece. It's just beautiful. And it's a stark and nice contrast to the previous song again, which is Dark Prince. The next, if I'm pronouncing this right, still live, is Para Oriente. It's an up-tempo track. It's got some funk and soul to it. It's not as heavy as Dark Prince, but it does remind me of Rush a little bit in small spurts because of the motif. There's something about the motif that reminds me of the Power Windows album, but I'm not a big fan of the Power Windows album. Not really. There's a couple songs I like. Think of Power Windows if you took out the 80s synthesizer stuff, and I'm not a big fan of that. If you took out the new wave bits of that album and made it more resonant and heavier and jazzy, and Power Windows has a jazz moments in it, it would, there's something, it's hard to explain, there's something about that. So think Power Windows without the new wavy keyboards and without the vocals, since it's instrumental. And McLaughlin's guitar is just phenomenal here. It's fantastic. All right, next song is Are You the One? This is live. Great drum intro, similar to Peart's solo on Exit Stage Left. There's a couple of notes here and there. Just something about it sounds very similar to that. The bass kicks in then with the drums, then the guitar. It's a great, that opening here, you get the drum intro, then the bass kicks in, then the guitar. What a way to open a song. It's that build up, right, that some of us love. And the way that John McLaughlin plays the guitar here reminds me of the way Miles Davis plays his trumpet in the Isle of Wight live material. At the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970. Is that Miles has that short shredding moments where he's just shredding, doing this, right? And no one else has done that to that level. There's just something unique about the way Miles played the trumpet and brought to the trumpet that rock star shredding of the trumpet. So McLaughlin is doing that kind of fast-paced, energetic, hustling, fast quickness, hard to explain style phrasing on his guitar that we know and love from Miles. So whether that's intentional, I'm not sure. It's just great. It's a heavy song. I like it. It's not as heavy as Dark Prince, but it's pretty heavy, kind of doomy again. And then the rest of the tracks are in studio, and so it's the songs from the live show, missing one. So let me review. The live tracks are Drum Improvisation, Dark Prince, Continuum, Para Oriente, and then Are You the One? Well, it's actually Are You the One, comma, Are You the One, so it's repetitive. Sorry about that. And then the studio tracks, Dark Prince, Continuum, an alternate take of Para Oriente, then an alternate take 2 of Para Oriente, and a studio version of Para Oriente. I like the live half better than the studio, but I do love the studio stuff. So it's a bit repetitive because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 versions of Para Oriente, one live, the other 3 different versions of that same song. And it's a shame, I don't know why, but there is no Are You the One, Are You the One in the studio. And that's a great track. So this is a great album. Again, unfortunately, it's short-lived. It's a one and done. And this back, the photographs and a little bit of liner notes on the back and the track listing. And then there's a short, I can go ahead and show you. There's a nice photo of 2 of the band members, and Tony's in the back, of course. There's some other photos in here. It's kind of cool. Jaco still had his long hair and his crocheted hat. You know, his what he's known for. Got a little picture of Tony Williams in there. And there's some story here that I've read a long time ago. It's worth reading. It's really cool to have some literature in your jazz, in anything music-wise, give you some history, right? And again, it's a shame. Anyway, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Take care now. Bye.